Hi everyone, I'm John, and welcome back to Puzzle Me This. This is part 2, so it is the 1 month update on the 24,000 piece life puzzle. We spent a lot of time sorting this month, so I don't have a whole lot of stuff put together to show you, but we have a little bit, and we have a lot of other stuff to do. So let's get started. We are at 183 total hours on the puzzle so far, counting turning the pieces all face up and sorting them all out on cardboards, and the border being done, and the other stuff that we'll look at then. It took 110 hours to sort all the pieces out, get them turned all face up, and sort them all on cardboards. So the first video that you're going to see is a time lapse of us turning the pieces over. We did all that on January 1st, the first day. And then there's a video of the pieces all turned face up. And then the next video will be January 10th, where we were 10 days into it. So I'll show them to you now. While we were working on the 42,000 piece puzzle, quite a few of you told me about the puzzles that you were working on, and I wondered how they were coming along. And 2 of you left comments in the last video. Crazy Puzzle Chick. She mixed 57 or 58,000 pieces of the 60,000 piece dowel puzzle. And she said that she has around 8,000 pieces put together so far, which is good because she does a lot of other puzzles besides just working on the 60,000 piece puzzle. And Martin Storms was working on the 42,000 piece puzzle and said that it should be done in 2 months. Also, Puzzle Cat's Life left a comment in the last video and said that she had just finished this puzzle and that the underwater dolphins part would drive me crazy. And she wondered if I saw her series on this puzzle. And usually when people say that they have done a big puzzle in the comments, I click on their name to see if they posted it on YouTube so that I can watch it. And usually they don't, but she did. And she has 25 or 30 videos of her putting this 24,000 piece puzzle together. I'll leave a link to her channel right on top in the description box. So if you want to see how she went about putting this puzzle together, you can go over and check her out. I stopped this time lapse when Shauna had to leave, and then Mom came over and we slid the pieces closer together without trying to get any of them on top of each other to make room for the rest of the pieces, and then finished laying out the little pile that we had left. Okay, we got that little pile finished that we were working on at the end of the time lapse. And these are all the pieces that are spread out on the table. It's hard to really focus and get them all in, but that's the table with the pieces. I'll walk down through if I can. Just, I don't know if you'll be able to focus on any of them or not. That's a lot of pieces. That's almost the whole 24,000 that we got on the table. And it's not counting the border pieces. These are the border pieces on this cardboard. Shauna did get 75 done or put together. And that's the other cardboard underneath of border pieces. And Mom did start a few pink ones, getting them. Shauna started, she was seeing so many draft pieces that she started picking them out. These are the half and double pieces, or the special pieces that we call them. And this is how they go together. Those pieces don't go together, but that's the shape of them. And those four pieces, those four pieces will show up in each section. So there will be 24 special sections like that. And as you can tell, they're harder to pick out because there should be, I think, 96 of those. You know, 4 pieces times 24 sections. So we should have 96 of them pieces, and we don't yet. But they're a little harder to pick out when you're turning things over. They're just a little harder to see than the border pieces, and we probably don't quite have all the border pieces yet either, but we should be close. But I've been walking through now, picking pieces off of each other. There's a few left that the pieces are doubled. They're not laying flat like this one right here I see. And if you look down across the table, I don't know if this will show up or not. I can see maybe 10 more places where there's a dark shadow a little bit. And that's a piece that's sitting on top of another piece. I don't know if that's focusing good enough that you can see that there's a shadow there. But those are all the pieces. Now we have to go through and sort. Okay, what you just saw was the first day's work. That was 17 1/4 hours that it took all of us, with our time all included together, to get all the pieces turned face up. And we did pick out most of the border pieces. Now this is after 10 days. You'll see a lot of cardboards on the table. Most of the pieces are off. We still have a lot on this end to go yet. But there's cardboards on the table yet. And a lot of them over on the side. And some on this side. So this is after 10 days of working on it. And the border is all done except for 2 pieces on the far end that we can't find yet. Also, it occurred to me that some of you are probably watching these videos because you're interested in this puzzle. And you haven't watched the 42,000 piece puzzle videos, which is fine. But I realize that when I talk about Mom and Dad and Shauna and whoever else is helping, that you haven't met them yet. So as people come over, I'll introduce you to them. And here's some people that were over the other day helping. All right, let me introduce everybody. There's Mom and Dad and my sister Julie and our friend Sandy and Shauna. You probably heard me mention Shauna a few times. And Goldie. Goldie wanted to put a few pieces in last time, so Shauna helped her. So now I can say that there's 4 generations working on the puzzle. There's Mom, her daughter Julie, her daughter Shauna, and her daughter Goldie. Marigold.
Women power.
Yeah. Not everybody wants to be on camera, but when people come over, if they want to be on, I'll introduce you to them as they come over. Okay, let's look and see what all is on the table that I can show you here. Okay, let me show you some stuff on the table here. And, oh, the book. Let me show you the book first, with your guesses in it. Okay. Haribo Sweets was the first person to guess. I think I did them according to the order that you guessed. If you don't see your name in here, let me know. I could have missed some people. I think I got all of them, though. There was a couple of yous. SANA26 and Rebecca.G that said 10 months or 9 months. And I gave us the whole month, so I put like 10/31 or 9/31. So if that's not what you meant, let me know, and I'll correct it here in the book. I was giving us as much time as I could there. So, yeah, if you don't see your name in there, let me know. I could have missed some people. I don't think I did, though. I hope not. So those are the people that have guessed. And, oh, the posters. I did find a local shop, printing shop, that could scan the poster in, and that's the original poster up on the end there. They scanned it in and then printed it out. I had them print out one just so I could see how the colors looked. And it came out really well. You can tell that the original poster, that's the original poster, and that Underwater City is just a little darker than this. But it's just the shading is a little different. The color for everything is exactly the same. So they were like $13 each. So I had him print me 3 of them. And we're using the 3 copies and not the original. So I can always take the original back if I need to and have them scan it again and print me out some more. They might have the scan still in their computer even. So I might not even have to take the original with me. But I think they came out really well. I wish I'd thought about that or knew that for the 42,000 piece puzzle. Because that poster just looked so beat up at the end of that from us using it all the time. And I didn't think about getting a copy made right at the beginning. I wish I could have gotten Educate to send me a couple more posters, but it worked out just as good this way that I can get them made locally here when I need to. So let me show you what's on the table. These are giraffes and animals. And that's giraffes. That's giraffes. A lot of giraffes. There's 3 giraffes in the puzzle. That's the tiger. Dad just got this planet done yesterday. We were missing one piece out of there, and he got that in yesterday. So he got it all done yesterday, except for some of this side here. There's a couple pieces missing. And there's a couple other planets started here. And pink. We have pink for the sky. And I went through 2 days ago, and I sorted all of them by shape. So you'll see they're all by shape now. And this corner up here is where all the pink will go, or most of it. So once we get started on that, maybe we can go through and do it by shape. That is the rainbow. part of the sky. This is, well, I got 3 sails that I got partway done. This is one of the sailboat sails. And this is the other one. And this up here is the other one. And this is Saturn, the rings of Saturn. And we're still trying to find those color browns for the planet. Oh, and right here, if you can see that, that's one of the half pieces. And it has the hole and a prong on each side to go in. And we'll talk about that. Remember that. We'll talk about that later when we get over to there. And these are balloons on these 2 cardboards. And I have some of the balloons kind of started along the edge here. The balloons are nice because they're close together, some of them, that once you do one balloon, then you can go over and do this balloon and this balloon and then this balloon and just kind of keep working your way through the balloons. And over here, we have the greens. We tried to sort out distinct things like sails, balloons, the rainbow, things like that. And then as a last resort, then we started with colors. So these are the green ones. This one started with black pieces, but now there's some dark blues on there too. I can see they really show up on the video there. This is some yellow and reds with water, probably the bottom of a boat. These are yellows, and these are oranges. That's our candy. We put up tarps across that side to hold the heat in. And our candy shelf was on the other side next to the television there. So we moved our candy shelf over here. It's been so cold lately, and we haven't been up here much because it just takes a lot to heat it, and having them up does help. But the high temperature for the last couple weeks pretty much has been between 10 and 20 degrees Fahrenheit as a high temperature for the day. That's minus 12.2 to minus 6.6 in Celsius. And I don't just come up by myself. I don't want to heat it just for one person. And so if it's real cold, we haven't come up. And we're trying to figure out different heaters that we can use because we're anxious to come up, because right now there's so much to work on and easier stuff that stands out. So we're all anxious to come up and work on the puzzle. So we're trying to figure out how to do it so we can spend more time up here. Oh, these are the cardboards that we have left over. I did go up to the wood shop maybe 3 weeks ago, and I got 6 more cardboards of the big size that I always use. That size is 15 by 32 inches, or 38.1 by 81.3 centimeters. And I like that. Seems to be a good size because they're easy enough to carry around, and I can usually, if I put them on right, I can get 300 pieces per cardboard. And so I got 6 more of the big cardboards, and we have them over there. We'll get over there in a minute. But these are the cardboards that are left. And every time we can empty a cardboard of puzzle pieces and set it back over here, it's really an accomplishment. It feels like we're getting the puzzle put together. Over here is the clownfish. They'll all go in this corner here, and these 2 cardboards have them on. And there's some of these green ones here that go down here. These started I think Mom was picking out butterflies, but I think a lot of them look like fish. And these are fish also. Not the clownfish, but just other fish. These are some red ones that stood out to us, so we were putting them together. I think this is a zebra, or zebras. I think some of them are animals on there, and I think that's a fish, or a couple fishes. These are grass, and there's also some sheep in there too, but I think that's grass that is around the lighthouse. These are the special pieces, or the half pieces. And the reason there's 24 of these, there's 23 on the paper now because we looked at the one over there in Saturn's rings. But the reason that there is a half a piece, there's 24 of these, one for each repeating pattern section. And the reason that is because each section has 37 by 27 pieces. So if you multiply that together, that comes out to 999 pieces, which means this puzzle would be 24 pieces short because there's 24 repeating pattern sections and each one would be missing a piece. But with a piece cut in half, that makes each of the repeating pattern sections, all 24 of them, they each have 1,000 pieces now. So that's why they're like that. And on the 42,000 piece puzzle over there, it was the same way. That one had 42 groups like this, one for each 1,000 piece repeating pattern section. So that's why that is. And these are all the water line pieces. There's a white line between above water and below water. Right here you can see it. And it runs the whole length of the puzzle. And I went through the water pieces and picked out all the ones that I could find. Some places the line is pretty thick, and some places it doesn't really exist, just maybe a little. And I would like to get that line all the way across the puzzle, if I can. But I started just the other day working on that. It wasn't as easy as I thought. I thought I'd just go through and put line pieces together, but it wasn't as easy. But they're coming together. The cardboard's on the table here, the two tables. The big pile in the back there, that is the underwater blue pieces. There's some maybe dolphins in that, and the underwater city. And there's some fish with the outline of the fish with water in the background, kind of. And so there's a lot of them cardboards there. These are browns, or brownish colors. The ones in the back here are above water pieces. These are below water, and these are above the water line. And you'll see that there are pieces picked out of all these. As we go and find something we need, we pick the pieces out. These up here are sky pieces, not the pink pieces. There are some pink ones in there that, if we're missing them when we're putting that together over there in the corner, they'll probably be on here. But I think Mom did go through and pick out the real pink ones and put them on the other cardboard. These are whitish or tannish we think they're probably sailboat sails. And there's some names there. They might be on the side of the boat too, maybe. But we thought maybe they were sailboat sails. These are purple. The ones back here are bubbles. And they're not really bubbles, probably all of them. I think most of them are plants underwater. But they kind of have a bubbly look, so that's how they ended up on those cardboards there. And then these are blue, but not really water blue. There might be some, maybe sky blue. Some of them are probably underwater blue too, but they just didn't quite look like it, so we put them on there. These are some cardboards that Mom picked out. She was looking through different patterns of things. And it's just some things that they picked out. And these cardboards in the middle here, these 6, they're not all full. The fold in the box making machine has, it goes on skids like an accordion. And it's a full sheet of cardboard, and it just keeps getting sucked into the machine. And the fold doesn't really matter for a box because it's sturdy enough. But for puzzle pieces, I don't want to put pieces on part of it that's going to lean down and the pieces slide off. A lot of them where the grooves were this way. And those are the ones that I cut down. That's why some of the cardboards are shorter than the full size. They all started the full size, but then I cut them down because I didn't want to put pieces on part of it and then it lean over and pieces fall off. But I used these were long ways. And they have the folds long ways. So I just kept them like that, but I used them for the miscellaneous pieces. So those 6 cardboards, there probably are 600 or 700 pieces there on the miscellaneous boards. And even now, we're not real familiar with the puzzle yet, but there's things that we recognize, and we've gone through there and picked out pieces that now we know what category they should go in. So I don't think it'll take us too long to be able to go through and get rid of most of the miscellaneous cardboards. I want to show you too over here. Arto Kilpanyan. I apologize. I'm sure I'm not saying his name right. But he's doing this puzzle. And he asked me if my puzzle was cut a little different than the poster was. And it is. And the easiest way that I can show you here is you'll see this wing here of this bird. And you can see that there's a little red on top of the wing yet on the poster. But on the puzzle, the wing is completely cut off. Not completely, but there's a piece that there's a whole piece that I should have up top here yet that I don't. And there's a whole piece along the bottom that isn't on our poster. And Shauna did a lot of the border. she started that while we were still sorting. And I don't know how she did that so good across the bottom, because she didn't have a picture to look at. Now, Arto Kilpanyan, his was off side to side, and mine is a little too. I can only see, like this monkey here, I can only see just not very much of his eye, his left eye. But on the poster, you can see both of his eyes and then some. So it's off that way too, but only maybe half a piece. But I think it's off probably a full piece from top to bottom. So, okay, that's pretty much where we are this month. I think I've showed you everything. So, thanks everyone so much for taking the time to watch. And until next time, go put your puzzle together.